My Oscar shame continues with The People versus Larry Flynt. I would like to point out that I was 13 when this movie came out in theaters, and there was no way that my mom was going to take me to a movie about Larry Flynt. So, this is more of like a failure to have caught up on this film since its release. The film came out in 1996. It's directed by Milos Forman, stars Woody Harrelson, Courtney Love, and Edward Norton. This film qualifies in my never seen it before Oscar conversation because it was nominated for Best Director and Best Actor. 2 nominations, no wins. Also, it does not have audio description on Paramount Plus, which is the other film I reviewed already on Paramount Plus that didn't have audio description is more important. Terms of Endearment did actually win Best Picture, so the fuck. But it only is nominated for 2. I don't know The People versus Larry Flynt has necessarily made an everlasting impression on the film community. I really haven't heard anybody talk about it. Since its release. It's not like a film that's grown in classic. When I was looking for Terms of Endearment, happened to notice this was on there, and I just chose Terms first, and came back around for this one because I have a few more days to fill. It's pretty much just a biopic of Larry Flynt's life, mixed with sort of a courtroom drama. It's like sort of 2 things. A little bit of United States versus Billie Holiday, where you get a lot of biopic stuff, and also a little bit of a battle. Larry Flynt seems like a character, and a love him or hate him type of person, absolutely. I never read Hustler. I'm sorry. Didn't know that much about Larry Flynt. Oddly enough, I feel like I knew more about Hugh Hefner and Playboy. Hustler seemed to just fly under the radar in comparison. I knew what it was, but for some reason it always felt like the difference between like watching HBO and watching Cinemax. Like one is maybe slightly racier, but the quality is probably not going to be as good. Anyway, so it's a Skinemax joke, just in case nobody picked up on that versus, the elevated racy content on HBO, Cat House, real sex. Anyway, so yeah. Woody does a good job. Woody is an actor, though, that he's always Woody. So I don't know what Larry Flynt actually sounds like. Probably should have tried to find like a YouTube video to see how accurate of a casting this was. He cannot lose his voice. I'd give him an Oscar if he was able to, but you can always tell it's Woody Harrelson. It's impossible. Even in something as recent as White House Plumbers, I knew it was Woody Harrelson. Like every single film I've ever seen him in, I immediately can hear Woody's voice. I don't know how he could possibly disguise it. I want somebody to cast him as British just to see what would happen. You know, just for shits and giggles, I would watch that film just to see Woody trying to do a British accent and just to get him a vocal coach, and see what he can do. To see what that's like. He just has an unmistakable voice, which makes it really hard to say that he fully embodies Larry Flynt because he always feels like it's Woody Harrelson. So, so the success of the film is in Milos Forman's direction, and the fact that he got a pretty substantial performance out of Courtney Love. I mean, this is 1996. Most people were not on the Courtney Love train. She was trying out acting. But then once they saw her act, they were like, oh, she's actually pretty good at this. I remember she had a little bit of Oscar buzz. I think she may or may not have gotten a Golden Globe nomination. And of course, she went on to do Man on the Moon. She didn't really do much in the acting field, um, but uh, she was the right person for this film. She seems to just sort of match Larry's energy, the energy that Larry needs. That's another standout, like I already mentioned, was Edward Norton. I actually really liked him here. He doesn't have as much to do, but when he does do it, he does it well. So just another solid film for him towards the beginning of his career before he really sort of became Edward Norton with the, uh, I would say, like with a little chip on his shoulder. He's still trying to build his resume and get recognized. So this isn't that far removed from Primal Fear. So yeah, it needs audio description. I struggled at the beginning of the film following what was happening. There are many scenes that happen. There's obviously the assassination attempt on Larry that sort of famously puts him in a wheelchair, um, and that has no audio description. So there are plenty of things. Plus, gotta say, it's a film about porn, you know, and that's kind of a visual thing. And like there's one scene where they have this conversation about what they can and can't show in print, and I'd like to know what they are or are not showing on film. Now, this film is rated R, so I'm sure certain things are not being shown. And this film is from the 90s, so I have an even deeper understanding of what the film is not showing, if you get my drift. Uh, I know the MPAA. So, have they gotten a little bit more lax? Not really. Maybe like a smidge. It kind of depends on the film and who's asking them. That's always been the thing with the MPAA. I'm gonna side recommend this film is not yet rated. If you have never um, seen, if you've never had an opportunity to watch that, I would recommend that. I haven't seen it blind to know what that film would be like without audio description. But if you're really interested enough in film, you should watch it anyway, just for the conversations about the MPAA and how they work and how it actually goes down. It's a great exploration of how it's gone down, and it does analyze ratings. So I kind of wonder what happened. This wouldn't surprise me if they had to make cuts to get an R rating just because of the material. I'm sure this got extra scrutiny because of the topic that they're talking about. So people just automatically assumed this film would be problematic. I don't think Milos had a very long leash here. So there might be some boobs. That's probably about it. That's basically what I'm saying. I have a feeling this is probably less racy than other films that were not titled The People versus Larry Flynt, released in around the same time period, simply because this film had a target on it, which is exactly the whole point of this film, by the way, is about, you know, just because it makes you uncomfortable doesn't necessarily mean it's illegal. And I think it's a great script. I think the cast does, they're all really good. I don't know that anybody deserves an Oscar coming out of this film, but I feel like this is a solid film that I'm glad I saw, at least in some capacity, in my lifetime, now that I can just kind of check this off. I wish it did have audio description. I don't know how many people are looking for this film in 2023. This would not be, if I was at Paramount Plus and advising them on waves of films they should add audio description to, I can honestly say I cannot believe a situation in which this would be in my first 100 things they need to add audio description to. Not only do they have more important films, but they also have TV shows that absolutely make sense to add to. So eventually, sure, yeah, because I want everything to be described eventually. That is my goal in life, but this is somewhere in the middle. So if you want to watch this film now, or you want to catch up on it, or you're trying to fulfill some life goal of watching every film Courtney Love's ever been in. I'll probably do that in a day. Then this is out there for you on Paramount Plus. It just doesn't have audio description, which also means I'm not grading it. It's going to be unwatchable. That's the grade here. There are too many scenes that obviously scream, I need audio description. I couldn't fully understand the film and what Milos was trying to do and what he was shooting, and I had a lot of questions about what was being shown on screen, and how they were doing it. The choices that they were making. At one point they gagged Larry Flynt. I was like, with what? Because it seems like they just put duct tape over his mouth. Did they just... It's not really a gag. That's definitely not a spit mask. So what did you put on his... Did you just put on his face? Did you just pull out some duct tape and be like, I got this. My daddy always told me to keep duct tape around just in case. Yeah, it's just, there's a lot of things where I was just like, I don't know. Somebody gets scolded for doing something in the back of the courtroom. I don't know what that was. They're like, quiet back there. What did they do? I don't know. Did they throw a shoe at you? I have no idea. There's so many times in this film where I was like, I don't know what just happened. So this is an easy unwatchable for me. It's not even like, sadly, there's some stuff here that I think the message is strong and I agree with it. And I have a feeling that if I were to rewatch this film years down the line and had audio description, it would be getting a positive score for me. So this is not like unwatchable in a way like, please stay away from this film. I think it's awful. It's unwatchable in a way of, I need you to fill in some gaps so I can understand it. Because when I would never be able to properly grade a film. And there's a huge difference between like a B+ and a C+, and it could be somewhere in that range. So that would be a range, but I think somebody would much prefer a B+ to a C+. So anyway, that's just me. You can click that subscribe button so I can continue to talk about audio description in front of the largest group possible. I have a website, MacTheMovieGuy.com. You can follow me on X, Threads, or Instagram, MacTheMovieGuy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what is audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the ADNA.org. That's the ADNA.org. It'll let you know who's narrating your favorite films and television series when they have narration. Anyway, that's it for me today. I will watch something else and see you guys on the other side.